Do I get jealous of the things the boys get to do in this movie? No, not really. I think they get jealous of me because I don't have to work hard at all. They have to work very, very hard, and the only thing I have to do is put on a pair of short shorts and smile. Fittings were different every time because I was in the gym. I went directly into the gym when I found out I had the role of Daisy Duke because I had no butt whatsoever, flat ass. So I had to do a lot of squats to actually get some, you know, cushion in there. So the fittings went different every time.
Because Jessica wasn't always available to us at the beginning, we have created a replica of Jessica.
First, we just thought, you know, you could just buy off the rack at Barbie and find some jeans, but oh, that didn't happen, because when you put the jeans in the Barbie, it didn't have quite the contour of the side here. So we had to take a little jean fabric from here and actually make these jeans. Oh, if you notice, with exact pockets as well, subtle. And then we had to get the shape of the backside, if you will. Top stitching here. Everything is measured perfectly.
Wardrobe is definitely a science. There was a lot of measuring that went on in this. There was a lot of scale drawing, different equations that had to occur for the arcing and the angles of what needed to happen to these shorts. Because we had already used the Barbie as the model, we were able to show that to Jessica and show her the dimensions, so she felt a lot more at ease putting on the shorts the first time because of the model that we had done for it.
It convinced her to go shorter. We started longer and then, come on, Barbie went short, you can go short.
When I first put them on, I was a little self-conscious, but I'm from the South, so us girls in the South kind of do it short.
And she's the one, you know, I said, look, make the shorts work for you, show me the shorts you like, and I'm assuming that I'll like one of those pairs. And so she showed me 5 pairs of Daisy Dukes on her, and there were 3 of them that were just flat out amazing, and they're in the movie. Took all day too.
I think something bounced up into my undercarriage.
I have white corduroy Daisy Dukes. I have 2 pairs of denim Daisy Dukes, a micro mini denim skirt, and a pair of jeans. She changes a lot in a matter of like 2 or 3 days.
So everyone wants to know about the Daisy Dukes. So you start with a pair of blue jeans or cords.
It's a matter of truly like centimeters that you approach danger zone. You risk cutting them up to here and having too much butt cheek or too close to the business. I don't know, there's just like a million things that could go wrong with them.
The funny thing about those shorts is Jessica's shorts are even shorter than Catherine Bach's, and you didn't know that was ever even possible.
The original Daisy Dukes were higher waisted. These are lower waisted for the girls who like to show a little bit of belly button. I feel pretty confident because I've been in the gym a lot, so I can't wait to stuff my face in a big apple pie or something.
When the audience gets in this car, they should feel like they've gotten in the car of that 16-year-old who just got his license and floors it everywhere. And you get in that car once with this guy, but you never get in the car again with him. Growing up with this show and growing up with Smokey and the Bandit, I could never change the car. The car was the whole reason to even do the movie in the first place, you know? It's the car. It's about the car.
The '69 Charger. It's quite a It's quite the car. I mean, it's General Lee, man. Everybody knows what it is.
One of the biggest looks that the Charger had early on was what they call the raking effect, which is the rear wheels are off the ground higher than the front wheels. I think the fact that it's big and it's wide but it's sleek, it has a look of power.
I mean, I just sort of started to really enjoy shooting the long flat planes and where that would curve into the roof, and I mean, it's a really kind of a great looking car on film.
We bought 25 cars originally and started building them. Just pretty much just got on eBay and started looking for 69 Chargers. We bought a lot of 68s and we all converted them to 69s, which is basically the tail pan and the grille, and everything else in the car is exactly the same. We do have a couple 70s also, which we backdated us to 69s.
Well, you have a car that's being asked to almost become a character in the movie. You know, a car that tilts, a car that flies, a car that does, you know, drifting shots, you know, stuff that car wasn't designed to do for the most part. So it was very challenging to meet, you know, those requests consistently, every day, day in and day out, no breakdowns.
If you've ever shot car stuff, it's always been very frustrating because you have these high-speed stunts that are done at 80 miles an hour, and then you've got the actors in the car and they're moving at 35. What Dan Bradley and his guys came up with was this thing called the Gomo Build. We have cameras and lights, and then there's a driver at the front of it. So, but it's all one piece, so you can drive this thing 80 miles an hour, and the actors are in it.
We knew in theory that, you know, we could break the car in half and mate it with another car. So it's like we'd have first half Gomo Build, the driver's pod, and then we could mate it to the frame of another car. It had to be the right car, and Dukes of Hazzard gave us the perfect platform. It's a 69 Charger, which is a fairly heavy, substantial car. It has a full roll cage in it, which gives the car extra stability. We could take the body and put it facing forward or flip it around so it's facing backwards and get shots as if they're driving backwards through traffic.
Back on second unit, we ski to General Lee, which means it's on two wheels, skiing through this barn. And now to put the actors in the scene, we've mounted a buck, which is the body of a General Lee, onto the Gomo Build, and it tilts via pneumatics. So we come through, hit a button, the buck goes up on its side as if it were skiing, and the actors can be inside and we can film dialogue as they're going through the barn.
This is another one of Dan Bradley's, what we'll call a complex toy, which is creating a remote drive vehicle. The really cool thing about remote drives is it allows us to look forward, which is not always an easy shot to get because the actors would have to be driving, as well as the trunk and the rear section of the car is removable, so we can actually put an operator or a camera in the back looking forward.
You know, the General Lee is an icon. You know, it's almost an actor in its own right. It's a famous car. I think for that time period, you had a car performing stunts and tricks that were real. People could relate to them. They weren't CGI. It was real people behind the wheel sliding that car around. And I know for myself, you know, it was amazing to see some of the jumps and the tricks and the slides that they were doing then. And hopefully we've been able to inject that into the new movie now.
What we've done is we've taken a General Lee Charger, we've reinforced it, put a large cable on the bottom which is hooked on to a hook that's on a tiller arm that will run down this ramp. When we what's called tripping it, we've got nitrogen there, and we'll pressurize this system so that we have roughly about 9,000, 10,000 pounds of pressure on this cable.
500 and climbing.
And man, when Doug hits that trip, this car goes from here to the end of the ramp in about a second and a half. Boom.
Stand by! 3, 2, 1!
We've been working on this for about a month now, month and a half, testing various cars and getting it ready to go.
Every car is different. Suspension, weight, the way it flies, just aerodynamics. We've had cars nosedive, dip down, roll over. Yeah, it's pretty much anything goes.
The Freeway Launch, we wanted to land it in the traffic. So we had to have stunt guys up on the freeway, and we pretty much, through testing with the effects boys, we had a time that we knew from the time it launched till the time it landed on the freeway, and we just had to make sure that the cars on the freeway were in the right places at that time. We ended up landing a General Lee probably 10 feet behind the black Evo that had a camera on it. It's a great shot.
Yes!
Yeah,
yes!
good. Oh, nice.
Whoa!
There are certain stunts that really we can't even calculate an acceptable level of risk to put someone in and think that they're going to be okay. When you start launching cars in the several hundred feet range, that's a possibility of hurting someone, which is not something we want to do.
Some things you just can't handle. I mean, you know, our audience is always expecting more and more, so we push more and more, but there's definitely a finite limit that you can take a human body to until where we start breaking every time we do it.
Well, we got some articulating dummies where the arms and the head move and do all kinds of herky-jerky things, so when they're in the car they look like real action kind of figures. And then we got our soft dummies, which are like that guy standing over there, sitting over there in the chair.
They gave you very little resistance. It took direction exceedingly well. Every time I stuck them in the charger, I never had to go look for them again because they stayed right there.
Good, I'm gonna tie this around his neck and go around your ratchet strap here.
We only ended up doing this once, and we planned on doing it actually for all the jumps. Is we went through, and this was shot, you know, off the catapult with a dummy in the car, this is the original photography. Then what happened was we went on the green screen stage. We inverted the move so that the car could stay still, and the camera traversed around it. And we'd actually planned on doing that on all the jumps, but what happened was the jumps were so impressive as just these sort of big wide shots that we just left them, and we never really cut in.
Uh-oh, that's gonna leave a mark.
Oh yeah, I mean, they do a job that I don't want to do. You know, they do a job that many of us wouldn't like to do. So, you know, they're necessary evil in our business, but, you know, fortunately we have to put up with them. Pretty soon they'll become SAG members and it'll be all over for us, so.
They're gutsy guys, you know, the dummies are gutsy guys. And, you know, look, we had some of the best, gutsiest stuntmen on the planet, but these dummies kept one-upping them, kept saying, oh no, we'll do it. And sure, you could question their intelligence, sure, but they made it through every one of them.
My name is Jeremy Potts. I'm from Denham Springs, Louisiana, and I have my foot tattooed like the General Lee. I can jump stuff. I'm gonna do the other foot like Roscoe's cop car, so I can do car chases.
Well, the Dukes of Hazzard. You remember. Fast cars, shorty shorts, scrapes with the law. Running that moonshine. Seemed like a pretty good way to spend a Friday night back in the 70s and 80s. At least, that's how them old Warner brothers remembered it. So they cracked the old piggy bank open, made a movie out of it. But why am I telling you this? You just watched the DVD.
It's the car, it's the shorts, it's Boss Hogg, and it's that great thing that Southerners do, this rebellion against the cops with jokes. Like Burt Reynolds did it the best.
I don't know whether I said I took the blame for the Dukes of Hazzard because of Smoking the Bandit. I think I did say I took the credit a couple of times.
Let's get, you know, the wildest two guys we can who if you were in a fight with them, you'd be bummed out because they maybe they'd kick your ass. I mean, I could kick Johnny's and Sean's ass, but you know, somebody else.
It's been the best experience I've ever had working on a film.
It's like having my teeth pulled coming to work.
And let's make sure that car flies and screams around in ways that are new.
I do all the driving. You know, the thing is like, it was one of those things where I said, I should be like Keanu Reeves in The Matrix. I should do it all, because I can.
Sure you can, Sean.
And as it turned out, I could actually do better precision driving than some of the best in the world, like world champion drivers.
My name is Reese Millen, current points leader for the Formula D Drift Championship, driver of the General Lee. To put a car into a slide, you're over-inducing your traction that the car has produced to force it into a slide. You're essentially abusing the power that you have, flicking the car into the slide, either initiating it with a turn-in from the steering wheel and then giving it full throttle and essentially backing out once the car breaks traction to control that dynamic, sometimes steering the car more with the throttle than you would with your hands. So given a sustained circle or angle, you could just about drift all day.
Oh, it's not so hard. You just have to turn the wheel one way while you're steering it another. What do you say about the throttle? I'm starting to get a little dizzy. Wasn't there supposed to be a girl in this movie? I feel 14 again.
To get this part, I just had to be really annoying, and I had to call Us Weekly and tell them I already had the part. I had to call In Touch and tell them I already had the part. You know, all the tabloids. I needed to start the rumor that I was Daisy Duke. That way, you know, people would notice me. Actually, I really didn't do that.
That might be a new record.
Oh, look, the big muckety mucks. Let's go check them out.
I'm still trying to figure this joke out. That's happened a couple times on this movie.
It's part of that, like, you're reluctantly going along with this.
Yeah, you mean the filming this movie?
Very much. Think of what you did when you agreed to do the movie. Play it like that.
Wait, just because I did the screen test means I gotta do the movie? Are you kidding me?
We tricked you into that one.
You don't always know what he's up to, you know? He tends to write a lot of secret pages that he gives out to certain people on the morning of the shoot. He's very tricky.
I mean, I really like what you've done here.
Knoxville never met a joke he liked.
Where's that, Jay? Action!
There was a man from Boston. He owned an American Austin. He had room for his ass and a gallon of gas, and his balls fell out and he lost them.
Willie Nelson is now my angel. I am in love with him. I wish that I could see him every day.
This rockwaller come up and was humping this guy on the leg, and the guy said, "Quit that." And the rockwaller said, "Ah." And the guy said, "Well, hurry up then."
Willie doesn't really, there's not a lot, he doesn't chat a lot. He comes out with one-liners. He'll let you tell a story and then he'll just completely destroy whatever story you just told with one line.
Old buddy Roger Miller told me, said, it must be true that the longer you live with your pets, the more you look alike. Said, my neighbor come over this morning and chewed me out for in his front yard.
But when he does, it's really sage, like, and then you're like, what does that mean? The pearl is in the river. I think that means he wants to get high.
He throws a lousy punch, by the way. One of the reasons is, I don't think he's ever hit anybody. Hit this hand, baby. Ah! That's great. There you go. You got to go all the way through. Go ahead, do it again. That's it. Oh, yeah.
When we first found out the movie was greenlit, I think there was 2,500 stunt guys that all at once said, I got to work on this movie, because we all watched the General Lee jump and slide and do everything else.
In the Boar's Nest, we had, I didn't realize this, Billy Gerber came up to me yesterday, And we had Arnold Schwarzenegger's double, we had Stallone's double, we had Brad Pitt's double, Keanu Reeves's double, Matthew McConaughey's double, and Michael Douglas's double. We had some heavy hitters. The Mount Rushmore of stuntmen, I guess.
And action!
Can I get in on this?
Yeah, sure.
Johnny Knoxville kicks ass in the movie. He trained with this amazing martial artist for like a month and a half, and he just beats the out of a bunch of guys. And I basically just headbutt a bunch of guys. I got this helmet on, and I'm just knocking people in the head a billion times.
I'm riding the safe down the street and it ends up flying through the air, so they brought me down to 2nd Unit tonight to shoot. So I get to ride the safe from, 100 feet or so. It's fun, man. It's like a ride at the fair.
Did it take a lot of convincing to get you to do it?
No, I want to do whatever they'll let me.
Look at Johnny Knoxville putting a real stunt man out of a job.
Oh, you son of a...
I bet he wants a stunt man now.
Obviously, he has the reputation from Jackass of being willing to do any stunt that's out there, and he says it himself. He's like, for movies, he's happy to wear a cup if he got kicked in the balls, for example, in a movie. But in Jackass, he couldn't wear a cup because that would sort of betray the spirit of the show.
Well, stunts in a movie, you actually have to succeed and do them right. On Jackass, if we succeeded and did them right, we filmed them again until we failed. That's a big difference.
Well, making a movie is kind of like figuring out how to blow up a stolen safe. Use a lot of putty and stand back.
Might be a wet fuse.
Sheev is played by Kevin Heffernan, who played Farva in Super Troopers and Lars in Club Dread.
Jay and I have done a bunch of movies so far, and each time he tries to figure out how to humiliate me.
In Super Troopers, I got him to be naked and covered in powdered sugar.
Got me naked, smeared Vaseline on my body, and then threw powdered sugar all over it. And in the meantime, said it was a closed set, but then invited his entire family to come on that day. So,
when Club Dread came about, he got his revenge by writing the scene where I stand up at a campfire.
You tuck your business between your legs, and then you're nude. And as we sat in the editing room, I tried to get the most revealing shot in there as payback.
But here we are, down in Louisiana, where he's in his briefs with a shaved head and chicken scratch all over his face. And it's 20 degrees, so.
3, 2, 1, go!
Now might be a pretty good time to turn the volume down on your TV. Don't you reckon?
Ain't she a Georgia peach? Damn, Cooter, what'd you do? Make a deal with the devil?
Cooter's job is to perform miracles. Nothing short of miracles. And you know what? He does it. He's, I don't know, is he a God figure? Is that what they're getting at? Is that the most common of us all have the power of miracle in us? Because what's he do? He takes the General Lee from something beyond repair and turns it into something heavenly, right? So there's a lot of metaphor in this movie, and yes, Cooter is a Christ figure.
Well, as you can tell, most character actors have a little bit of a screw loose. He isn't the only one who thinks this movie is about him.
Well, I'd say it's a movie about a small-town sheriff who's sensitive but conflicted, gender endangered. He has a hard time with his sexuality. And when he sees them young Duke boys in their tight jeans, he just wants to put them in handcuffs.
What'd I tell you about those character actors?
I told you to shut up. He wants to put them in a jail cell, and he wants to go all Rumsfeld on them, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. That's what the movie's about. It's kind of walking tall for alcoholics.
Now we're getting to the real nitty-gritty. This movie is about moonshine. Sweet marriage-wrecking, corn-squeezing, warm-feeling moonshine. That's what I'm talking about.
Fredericks didn't get his bottles.
There was moonshine all over the set, and the folks were wasted, for the most part. Look, this guy here, drunk right now.
I never saw any moonshine, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, he has to say that. He's the producer.
I never saw any moonshine, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yep, they were all nipping. Jay Sanders Shakar, old Jessica Simpson, that jackass, Stifler, Hooper, Barbarossa, old Leatherface, that naked guy in Sideways, well, that guy, Cornbread, and old Snowball, and
Is that the narrator?
canned peaches. Yeah, they were there too.
Well, no, I think, you know, it's a concept.
Look over there. He been drinking since dawn.
Excuse me?
You heard me. Oh, I seen you in your trailer with your little see-through nightie.
What did you say?
On your blow-up doll.
You have absolutely no proof of that. And how dare you go into my trailer? What is mine is mine. What an a-hole.
The day had been saved, as they say. Haggard. Sorry, let's do that again.
Hey, I should have narrated this movie. Not Junior Brown. Hell, he can't even say hazard. Haggard.
The day had been saved, as they say. Haggard was haggard.
Son of a... He's a singer-songwriter. He's no damn actor. I put my time in.
I do recognize this voice. Who is this?
Overpaid jerks.
God.
You see me in the movie? That was me. Holy shit! Got a big laugh in the theater. Mm-hmm. I wrote that. Yeah, that was mine.
Commissioner Hogg has a...
Look at there. I'm even on TV. I was in the original Dukes of Hazzard.
So stay tuned. And while you're waiting,
Hell, I had hair.
your ears around this oldie but goodie.
Well, anyway, like I said, I should have been doing the narration, not Junior Brown. Richie Montgomery. That's Richie with a T. Yeah, so he got the big movie, and I'm down here stuck in the basement of the DVD making of the movie. Well, ain't that sweet? Nobody ever even watches this stuff, much less gets to the end of it. We through here? I'm about through. Well, I got a little more moonshine. I ain't quite through yet.